Hi, Sharon.
Hey, good morning, Howie. How are you?
I was fascinated by this story on TheWrap about the compensation of the heads of these big media companies and entertainment companies.
Mm-hmm.
We all knew they were making plenty of money, but they are making zillions of dollars.
Technically not zillions, but first of all, they're getting millions for sure, and they're getting raises in a year when, again, media companies' stock is either, for the most part, flat or down. So this is the ongoing story with media company executives. How do they get away with these multi-tens of millions of dollars of salaries and raises? We're talking about
an argument being made that Les Moonves, the chief executive of CBS Corporation, deserves $70 million a year because the company's doing well?
The company is doing well. CBS is doing well. But I might have a harder time explaining why Rupert Murdoch got a $12.5 million bonus when News Corp...
I was going to ask you about that. I mean, News Corp has had a terrible year. Scandals, shutting down the News of the World tabloid, and Murdoch is getting rewarded. How does he justify that?
Well, that's an interesting question. I don't think he does justify it. I mean, if you watched his performance yesterday, the day before, in front of this panel of inquiry in the UK, you'd see that he has his own worldview, and he doesn't really feel like necessarily justifying himself. And News Corp, on the whole, has most of its components are working very well, and he runs that company. He owns, his family controls the important block of shares, and that's what that's about. He's not the only one. Bob Iger also got a raise.
Disney?
At Disney. Yeah, that's right. Sumner Redstone got a $5 million raise at Viacom. Viacom shares are flat.
Just a $5 million raise?
Only $5 million, exactly. And the interesting thing is that this compares very interestingly to the companies that are on huge growth spurts, which are, of course, the new media companies, Apple, Google, Facebook. Those companies, with the exception of Apple this year because of a special deal for Tim Cook in terms of his getting a huge stock award. So his salary went up a few $100 million if you count his stock, but it's not cashed out. But most of those companies, Amazon, they take under $1 million in salary, those folks, and they are rewarded in shares, which is a great way to incentivize your top executives.
The company does better, they do better.
Exactly.
But it seems to me the game here is that these executives appoint these compensation committees, which then rubber stamp the astronomical salaries. But I'm wondering whether you think this is starting to be more of a public issue, more resentment in this Occupy Wall Street era about these executives, even the ones whose companies are successful, taking home these gargantuan paychecks.
Well, I think it depends a lot on who's on the board of the company and if there is a controlling shareholder or a group of shareholders, such as with the Murdoch family. So it depends on each individual company, but you also have a culture of media companies where that is the norm. And that's really the issue. Is that going to change? I mean, when you have this dates back to a time when media companies had a lot of growth and very robust profit margins. That's really not the case anymore. So it's a little bit of an anachronism. And yes, at some point, I think that this is going to start kicking in among shareholders.
Hey, before I go, did you hear about the movie I was in?
No, tell me.
Knife Fight. It's a political movie starring Rob Lowe as a hard-bit, cynical political consultant. Julie Bowen is in it, Jamie Chung.
Wow.
And I get to play a reporter for a short period of time, an obnoxious reporter. And it premiered this past week at the Tribeca Film Festival in New York, and I got to stroll along the red carpet.
Oh, that's so cool. Does the movie have distribution?
Distribution is coming. The movie's supposed to come out in the fall.
Oh, you can break the news here. You can tell us.
I don't have all the details, but I did. It was a lot of fun seeing how these movies are made, seeing how many times the same scenes are filmed over and over and over again until the director gets it just right.
Yes, exactly. Not like a live television or live video chats like this, right?
Have a good weekend, Sharon.
Yeah, thanks, Howie. See you next time.